I call this meeting of the Iowa State University Student Government Senate to order at 6 o'clock p.m. We begin with roll call. Iona Dimhoff, Gertis, Kuzi, Saini, Jones, Einwalter, Hartley, Gardy, Graybill, Dahman, Grafe, Utica, Miller, Bernal, Kekun, Corshi, Valenzuela, Bailey, Olson, Pursley, Nundahl, Limo Barbosa, Neal, Margaret, Schilling, Martins, Fliggy. All right, we'll now move into the Pledge of Allegiance. I invite you all to stand.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
With no program, we will now move into open forum. Open forum is an opportunity to discuss issues relevant to the student body. If you're here for open forum, I invite you to the podium at this time. Seeing no one here for open forum, we will now move to adopting the agenda. Is there a motion to do so?
Motion to add 2025-2-056F to the bottom of new business.
There's been a motion to add 2025-2-056F to the bottom of new business. Is there a second? Are there any objections? All right, back on the agenda as a whole, is there a motion?
Very briefly, one additional motion to add item 001SR to the bottom of new business.
There's been a motion to add 2025-2-001SR to the bottom of the new business. Is there a second? Are there any objections? All right, back to the agenda as a whole. Is there a motion to approve the agenda? There's been a motion to adopt the agenda. It's been seconded. Are there any objections? We'll now move to approval of minutes. Is there a motion to do so? Is there a second? It's been properly moved and seconded to approve the minutes. Are there any objections? We'll now move to committee reports, starting with rules.
Okay, rules will have their last rules meeting tomorrow on Thursday at 6:15 in the MU. We've had a good semester. We've been working on constitutional amendments and going through that. We're not quite finished with it yet, but next session we're hoping to be finished with that towards the beginning of the session. And then as well, just continuing on reviewing the bylaws and such.
Finance.
Hi. So finance met for the, is my mic working? Just double checking. Awesome. Met for the last time in the year 2025 yesterday. I do have a presentation that Senator Saini helped and he mainly put together, which I will send out in the teams after this meeting, which basically just goes over Finance Committee, some of the things we've done, and just kind of an overview for this semester. Additionally, I have the budget report, which this is from Tuesday, so it's not fully up to date, and there's one thing you might have a question on, but I'll just read this. Okay, so green initiatives right now will have around $31,000 in it. Executive initiatives, $4,600. Legislative relations, $14,900. Events, $48,200. Special projects, we're at a little over $1.5 million. For operating, it's around $34,000. Senate discretionary, $27,700. Annual allocations account is around $1,400, and then our reoccurring debt and obligations account is around $500,000. Additionally, you will see multiple finance bills, some of which will need to waive first read. Both of those that are waiving first read, we saw in finance, and while we can't technically approve them since they haven't been on first read yet, we gave a thumbs up to both of them and went through both of those budgets. Every finance bill that you will see was sent favorably, with the exception of our PNC, which was set super favorably by the Finance Committee. So we encourage you to pass all of them, but especially the PNC. We've worked really hard on that, especially the last 3 meetings. And yeah, if you have any questions, let me know. That was probably my longest committee report of the year. Thank you.
PR?
Hey, everybody. We had a meeting right before this, so we had our meeting tonight. With that, we wrapped up the shuttle naming contest, which was awesome. We had 140 submissions, so lots of good names to choose from. But that was kind of our biggest project that we had going on over the past couple of weeks. And then additionally, you may have been seeing on the social medias, we're doing Senator Spotlights. Please, 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 please go and fill out the form that I'm about to send in the teams, so that way you can also get featured on both Instagram and LinkedIn. Otherwise, that's all I have.
Idea?
Oh, thanks for turning that on, Tristy. Okay, so as for the committee update, there's not a ton of developments because of Thanksgiving break, but Mabiha reached out to ASC regarding the finals prep week idea that she had, and they told her to reach out to the organizers of Size Final Frenzy, so she's doing that. Just because they weren't able to collaborate at the moment. And then in addition, she reached out to dining contacts that I gave her to discuss the lack of labels on kosher food and a complaint that she received during a meeting with SAS regarding the lack of customization and more common allergies not being listed. They also are open to learning more about other issues that students might be having, so she'll be setting up a meeting with them sometime next week.
Events?
Not many updates from us. We met with the events committee earlier today and approved funding for a health and wellness tabling event, and then you'll be seeing a funding bill from us later today for the Lunch and Learn Know Your Leader series.
Local affairs?
Hi everyone. So local affairs doesn't really have a big update for you guys today. We're just working on our projects and getting things done before the end of the school year. We will have one senator spot open in the next session because Senator Gertis is graduating, so big shout out to him. Thank you for all the hard work. But that's all I've got.
Sustainability?
Hey everyone, not too many updates, but we did pass a Green Initiatives Fund today, which is super exciting. So that will, hopefully if it goes through finance, it will increase the discount for bringing in your own cup to any of the dining places on campus from 35 cents off to 50 cents off, which is super cool, super fun. We also have a surprising amount of more money than originally thought, which is super cool. So if you guys have any bigger projects that might take up a little bit more money, we now have that, which is so fun. We're also signed up for Sustainapalooza, so that's going to be next semester. We'll give you more updates on that once we get closer to time. And that's it.
Health and wellness?
Okay, so we got our funding from events for our tabling event that's going to take place next week. So we will do the order on that and so we're going to have goodie bags and then like mental health resources for finals prep. And then we also got Celsius to donate drinks, so we'll be handing out Celsius then too outside the library from 1 to 3 on Monday and Wednesday next week.
Legislative ambassadors?
All right, me again. So update is that they have another legislative ambassador meeting tomorrow at 6. They'll be doing advocacy training and starting to work on developing some federal legislative priorities. If any of you have any strong opinions, thoughts, or suggestions about federal priorities, they should they want to consider those, specifically if they affect your constituents. So just reach out to Emily via Teams.
Comments from the judicial branch? Comments from the advisor?
I just want to say good luck on your finals and prep week coming up. And remember to take care of yourself during this time. It can get pretty stressful, but also more importantly, make sure that you're checking in with your fellow students, that everybody's getting plenty of sleep, staying hydrated, and doing well with their studies. Thanks.
Comments from the executive branch with President Brandt?
Hi, everyone. So one of the big things I've been working on alongside Emily and then Christine is Big 12 on the Hill. We sent registration out on Monday. So we just finally got hotel block, reservations, all that squared away. So we're excited for that. Registration's officially out there for everyone. And I just wanted to say good work this session. I'm proud of all of you, and I'm happy and excited for all the wins we got for students. So keep up the good work, and if you need anything between now and when we come back to school, please just let us know.
Speaker Pursley?
Motion to strike 2025-2-056F from the agenda. We accidentally add that. We weren't supposed to. It was an accounting error, and we actually need to allocate more money.
There's been a motion to strike 2025-2-056F from the agenda. Is there a second? Are there any objections? We'll now move to external matters, starting with 2025-2-006SA, student engagement contract with Speaker Pursley.
Okay, everyone. This bill was on first read 3 or 4 weeks ago. And has spent 2 weeks in Rules Committee. Rules sent it with unbiased with these following proposed amendments. They are on the document in yellow. Looks like Finance Committee has their own in red. So they can go over theirs after ours. Do we want to go one by one? Okay. So the first thing that Rules proposed was on number 3, Part A. Student engagement shall be allowed to carry up to 25% of total unused funds of this amount within the below funding categories. The carryover to these categories is up to the discretion of the acting finance committee. So what is added is the stuff in yellow. So that's the first amendment. Should we vote on each amendment by itself?
We can, yeah. Okay. All right. So there's been a motion for the First Amendment to adjust point 3, Part A and I. That funds, the exact change of the wording is adding total unused and then adding below funding categories. And then there's an additional bullet with the carryover of these categories up to discretion of the acting finance committee. Is there a second? Are there any objections?
The next change by Rules Committee is adding more examples for what student engagement is planning to spend money on. So it's just further describing what programs, services, and systems to benefit student organizations, leadership, service, and artistic self-expression means. So in the parentheses, it's including but not limited to workshops, conferences, events, retreats, student organization offer recognition, and student organization involvement fairs, etc. So motion to add that to the language.
There's been a motion to add additional language regarding student engagement programs, services, and systems. It's been seconded. Are there any objections?
Okay, I'm gonna give some more, can you say after the amendments? I'm gonna give some context for the next ones. So, Rules Committee, is supposed to go through the contracts and make sure that they're in compliance with the rules. Currently, some of the things that are in the contract should not be in a student engagement contract because they are not under student engagement's jurisdiction. It's under the MU's jurisdiction and should instead be in our affiliation agreement with the MU, which has been signed and guarantees some of these things that have been crossed off. So Rules voted to cross these off and include them in a different contract that makes more sense, if that makes sense. So point 7, including the guarantee to the office space, 8 with the fridge and microwave, and yeah, those two should be in the affiliation agreement, and that's why they're crossed off. So motion to take point 7 and 8 out of the contract.
There's been a motion to strike point 7 and 8. Is there a second? Are there any objections? Senator Kuzi?
Where can Senate and students find the affiliation agreement? Or can I instead move that be shared with us?
Yes, that was signed on December 1st. I don't know if it's been dispersed yet.
Would you withdraw your objection and then motion to have the affiliation agreement shared?
Yes, I would withdraw that objection. Another motion is to include the trash policy in the affiliation agreement, or otherwise remove it from this. So the idea is if we're looking at guarantees with office space and tangible spaces, items, etc., fridges, microwaves, those kinds of things, a trash can would fit well with those.
All right. So we need to vote on this original motion first before we can move to your two motions. So do you withdraw your objection?
Yes.
He withdraws his objection to the motion. Are there any other objections? What's that? Yes, we're voting on the original motion to strike
Point 7 and 8.
point 7 and point 8. All right. Is there a second? Are there any objections? All right. Back to you, Senator Kuzi, for your one motion.
Okay, yeah, just for clarity's sake, motion 1 was the sharing of the affiliation agreement.
There's been a motion to have the affiliation agreement shared with the Senate. It's been seconded. Are there any objections? All right, your second motion.
Okay, and then the second, sorry. That one was, it's the green text now on the screen, all of section 6. Yes, so that one struck through and greened out on the screen on your devices. So adding the tangible item of trash can in that section to the affiliation agreement, thus removing it here.
It can't be added to the affiliation agreement as it's already been signed.
Okay, I'll withdraw my motion with the intention of keeping the trash can policy included in this contract.
So Senator Kuzi has withdrawn his motion and instead keeping the trash can policy in the contract.
Okay, continuing with rules amendments, on point 11, Rules Committee wishes to change the language on number 11 to programs and events funded by student government shall include on any promotional materials, size permitting, funded by student government. So motion to change the wording of point 11 to what is stated in the comment.
There's been a motion to change point 11 to programs and events funded by student government shall include on any promotional material size permitting funded by student government. It's been seconded. Are there any objections?
Okay, and then Quinn. Okay, on point 12, instead of what is crossed out, it'll say no fewer than 4.
On point 12, there's been a motion to strike following regularly scheduled Senate meetings and replace it with no fewer than 4. Is there a second? Are there any objections?
Yeah, I suppose just as perhaps a point of order information, however you want to qualify it, I think no fewer than 4 is meant to go before the word student where it's highlighted, which would grammatically make a little bit more sense than putting it at the end, if that helps at all.
Did you amend your original motion, Speaker Pursley?
Yes.
Speaker Pursley amended her original motion. That'll now strike following regularly scheduled Senate meetings and then insert no fewer than 4 in front of student government and after through. Is there a second? Are there any objections?
I believe that is all from Rules Committee, and now we can move to Finance Committee's amendments from Noah.
So this is really boring. We only have one. That would be 3 and then D. So essentially it's just removing this because it's redundant with what is shown earlier. So yeah. And then would we be able to introduce what this contract is for all of the senators who aren't on Rules or Finance that are probably really confused right now?
First, quickly, would a senator like to make that motion to strike D, to strike 3D? Senator Jones made a motion to strike 3D. Is there a second? Are there any objections? All right, would someone like to yield Finance Director Kanmeyer their time?
Okay, hi everyone. So as Josie was saying earlier, this was first introduced on first read about 3 or 4 weeks ago. We have Kevin here from Student Engagement, and this was approved no bias in Rules and then favorably in Finance. Just a couple things. So student government has funded student engagement for a long time. Previously, I think in the late 2010s, it was through a contract, correct?
As far as I know, I'm Kevin.
Maybe. But we proposed a contract back in, I believe, 2021 or 2022. Didn't go through, but there's a lot of reasons for a contract, which Kevin will go through, but the main one is flexibility, and especially during those summer months, in between budgets for annual allocations where, as you can imagine, an office that is here over the summer, it's very hard to operate when there's kind of that period where maybe the only funds you have are from carryovers until those funds eventually come in from annual allocations, which sometimes doesn't happen until August or September. So I will yield the rest of my time to Kevin Merrill.
Cool. Hi, everybody. I'm Kevin. My name's Kevin. I'm the Assistant Director in Student Engagement. All fuzzy sound. We're set? Awesome. I'm Kevin. I work in student engagement. I've worked at Iowa State since 2008, but I was a student here. I went to school here and I graduated in 2005. I have a degree in advertising and a double minor. Wouldn't recommend double minors. I'd think you pick a minor and then make it a major if you're going to do that. Sociology, psychology. I then went to grad school and I got a master's degree in college student personnel. So like I went to college to learn about how to make college effective for students, learned about how they develop, learned about how institutions work. So really this is my career, is working with students and trying to help them achieve their goals. I've worked in student engagement off and on for most of that time, working with student organizations, leadership and service programs. So to Noah, to your question, how long have we worked with student government for funding? The easiest record and earliest record I could find was at least 2010. So it's a solid 15 years, probably longer, but that's where I could find records. And I've worked in student engagement for most of that time. We're here to talk about a contract because my ultimate goal is to use the funding that student government has given us in the past and just merge it into a different version of that funding. So instead of annual allocations, to put it into contract so that we can provide the best quality programs, services, and opportunities for students here. We're not inventing a contract and trying to do all new things that are unproven. We're trying to just shift the funding into a different method, not really trying to rewrite everything. So again, my goal is to provide those opportunities, and I think that a contract will help us serve students better. Noah mentioned flexibility. That's really important in a contract versus annual allocations are very line item based. Contracts tend to not be that way. And where it benefits us is that we can be a little more innovative and flexible on meeting students' needs throughout that fiscal period, instead of needing to go back to those lines and kind of being stuck in those places. The annual allocations is built that way purposefully, and I understand that. The contract would help us kind of move into a way where we can help the students that we're in front of right now with the funding that we have, instead of trying to get ahead of it year in year. I want to make it really clear what things are included in this contract and not included in this contract, because I think that can help clear out a bunch of questions right out the gate. It does not include any staff salary, wages, or benefits. It does not include office administration costs, supplies, workstations, computers, professional development, anything like that. It doesn't include any of the student organization funding that of student organizations that are connected to student engagement. It doesn't include any of that. What it does include is Club Fests. Have you ever been to Club Fest? It includes Club Fests, 2 of those. It includes all the leadership conferences, workshops, and programs that we put on. So if you've been to or heard of Iowa Student Leadership Experience, any of our workshops, our lead retreat events, officer recognition events, that's what's included in here. Alternative break service trip program, that's what is in there. Nonprofit protege, student office space upkeep and improvements. It includes the student organization systems development and maintenance. So that's the student organization database where all the student organization information is held. The event authorization system, so how students, organizations put in events for approval on campus. Student organization online marketplace, the tool for student organizations to charge with credit card for dues and events and things like that. It includes promotion materials for all those events and things I mentioned, but also general involvement materials. So that would be materials you might have seen during orientation, for instance, that can help you understand what's possible here at Iowa State. That's included. If you're wondering if it includes the Get Involved booklet, it does not. That is a separate thing that's funded by advertising revenue. That is not included. Focus Grant is an art grant program. That's part of this as well, and that essentially serves as a way for students to get experience to create art projects that are displayed in the gallery, which is kind of below us to the left. And that's a long-standing program. It's a really great program. It's a really unique opportunity that's been supported by student government for at least 15 years. And then also, it does include the ability for us to create new initiatives and be flexible with some of those initiatives like I was mentioning. Right now, we have some obstacles that happen with the annual allocations. One of those is student government, like Noah said, meets about half the weeks in the year. About 15 weeks each semester. There's some, some time there. So it's like 22 to 30 weeks of the year, like student government's really up and running and everything's functioning and finance committee's full and it's operational. And that's really great. You're doing a great job with the time you have. We're just here planning for 52 weeks of the year. We don't, like we only get the holidays, like we don't get winter break off. We work. Fall break, we get the days like we had Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. So we're working these other days. So we don't even get full breaks off. We're here working for you to do great things. So having a contract that allows us to be a little more maneuverable with those funds is really helpful, because otherwise where we're positioned in the annual allocations process and kind of this is a lot more detail than you probably need. Anything over a $500 line item transfer, I have to come to Senate. So if we need to adjust a food budget in one thing, I can't. I have to come to talk to you, which then is at least 2 weeks, but probably more than 2 weeks to be maneuverable in any of those ways. And that's not to say we don't want to inform you, but it just slows us down to the point where we have to make decisions about, we're not even sure if it'll be approved. So after 2 weeks of work, we're behind the eight ball a little bit. So that's an obstacle we're kind of trying to figure out. Also, projects sometimes span fiscal years, and not really knowing what kind of line items might happen, or the funding might shift from year to year. We can't necessarily, we get stuck in that we order something and it doesn't come to the next fiscal year, and our budgets aren't always the same. So we have to deal with that a little bit. Let's see, this is a lot of detail, sorry. Let's see, one of the challenges with the annual allocations is it's a process that starts in February, and then it's for the next fiscal year. And I know many of you who have student organizations understand kind of that there's some challenges when you're not done with one fiscal year planning for the next fiscal year, because you don't know what those budgets are going to be. So you have to kind of make guesses on what you're trying to do with the money the next year. So having funding that's set for a 4-year period, let's say, lets us not have to do that kind of math. Lets us just plan rather than trying to figure out what we're going to do instead of what, and each year, instead of actually planning and just implementing them. Let's see here. One added benefit is student engagement wouldn't have to come to finance committee meeting during annual allocations. So that'd be one less, or two fewer blocks of meetings you'd have to have. So that's good for finance committee. Let's see here. We think that the contract will set us up for providing the best experiences. And I do want to point out in the bill, there are, I'm not sure where it is exactly, I think it's near the bottom. It talks about if student government has questions or concerns, that they have methods to address the contract at any point. So I don't want any of you to feel today that you are, if you vote yes for this, that you're locking in students for 4 years forever. Every single Senate will have the opportunity at any point to talk about this, to bring it back up for renegotiation. It's not a forever thing. It's a contract and agreement now, and then at any point, senators, you now in the future have the ability to go back and talk about this. So I don't know if they scrolled to that part. Yeah, right there. So you have the ability to make those shifts, so you don't have to feel like I said, it's set in stone forever. And the basic thing in the end is, I care a lot about opportunities for students and their involvement. It's been my life's career. So I'm not in a position here where I'm trying to do something that's not going to ultimately benefit students. But I think this will help us do that a little more effectively. And to give you context on what this looks like, based on our current student population, if you were to vote this through, it would be about $2.02 of fees per semester. And I think if you ask students, your constituents, are you willing to pay $2.02 to have access to club fests and service trips and the student organization database and student organization office space and, I think that they'd probably say that that's a good use of their funds. I can't say for sure what they'd say, but I think based on our attendance to Club Fest alone, $2.02 per student per semester there's a lot of opportunity there, and I think it outweighs the cost. We're really thoughtful about those funds, and we want to maximize them for you. So, Noah, is there anything else that you wanted me to mention since it's your time? Cool. Awesome.
Vice Speaker Hartley.
Hi, thank you so much for coming today. So point 6 in this contract is about the trash policy, that student government would be allowed a mini trash can or recycling bin in its office. Can you give your opinion on this a little bit?
Sure. Point 6 is a part of this contract that student engagement ultimately doesn't have control over. So it was discussed in rules a little bit, and there have been some other things that were removed. But if this stays in the contract, my office can't sign it because we ultimately don't have the authority to make that happen. And the reason is, although we administer those spaces, trash impacts more than just what my direct office oversees. So that impacts custodial and other things, which we can go into if you'd like to. But with trash comes other concerns like removal, sometimes like pest control and all sorts of things like that that I don't oversee. So I can't agree to that ultimately. So if that stays, then me being here and us in this time is sort of a moot point.
So in my opinion, regardless of whether or not this is in the affiliation agreement, I motion to strike this from this contract, given that they wouldn't be able to sign it if it was in it.
There's been a motion to strike point 6 from the contract. Is there a second? Are there any objections? Senator Kuzi?
Were you done?
Yeah.
Hello, thanks for coming. I took down quite a few notes as you were speaking. So all of the different items, they sounded great. I think our students really appreciate them. They've continued to appreciate them throughout all the years that you've been here and probably much before that. So some of the questions I had were looking at the large line item that we see, $87,500 for leadership and student organization programs and marketing. As you went through and listed all of those specific details, what are the line items there, or could they rather just be included, in this bill, at least somewhat, right? They can be clumped together, but is there a way to say 15,000, like the line above, for online steward database, right? Those kinds of things. Is there a way to do a clump but still explain what's happening with that funding?
Yes. Is that not listed? I thought we had added some language in rules around.
It's in point 5. The events are not named specifically because the names of events like this can change over time. So like Club Fest might not always be named Club Fest, but it would be doing the same things. I think Kevin can explain this a little better than me.
So yeah, to answer your question, I'm glad we found that language. We talked about it in rules a little bit. Listing out what types of things they are is more effective in us being able to deliver them instead of saying what the name is. Because we can also keep the name but then not deliver on the point of it. And so this is better a representation of what we hope to do and what we have been doing. So we can include any language that you want, but I don't want us to be stuck with a name that's not effective with students because it's in the contract, and changing the name would then impact us following the contract. I think if there's a specific thing that you want to see, I can maybe help explain a little bit more. But one of the things I'll say about those the line items, I'm not familiar with all contracts. I don't know that many contracts even have this many separate lines in them. So there being any at all is like kind of a meeting of halfway, so to speak, about this is what we plan to spend it on and these are the amounts we plan to spend it on. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, a couple weeks ago there was a contract with music and theater maybe, and it wasn't like they had to do so many shows or spend all the money between each of the shows and equally or anything like that. It was like, here's the money for you to accomplish the goals of those productions. And I kind of see like that section you were talking about, the A7000, being very similar, that it's to accomplish the goals of the leadership development, the service programs, I wrote it down here, the promotion of those things, Club Fest, those kind of things all together.
Yeah, I think that's a good example. Looking at a question that I believe I asked to the spokesperson that came from them was, what are the amounts and where does this money come from? Where is cost shared between different groups? I think an example was a provost office or different departments, et cetera. So some of the reflection here is understanding, what each item might be, and that language does give a hint and a very helpful overview, but if I asked somebody in this room what student engagement is, they could read that off and say. So I guess really the question or the comment here would be, I think we'd like to see a similar format to what allocations used to look like. I think there's an old document that shows, really a large breakdown, and you yourself said we don't want to rewrite everything, not rewrite everything, and there's not much new. And then you also said that, to make changes, you'd have to come in front of Senate. But we haven't seen you in front of the Senate this year, so that tells me there haven't been changes. So if we can list out those things, I think that fits. Again, like you said, meeting in the middle and having students understand where their activity dollars are going at a high level, and going a little further than what's on the screen. That'd be my comment.
Can I give a point of information on that? Okay. So point of information. So we did see them through Senate through annual allocations. And while not all of you would have been there for that, that would have been in April of this year. And you can pull up the OFP budget. If you figure out how to navigate it, in which good luck, you'll be able to find the student engagement, or as it's labeled on there, Student Activity Center budget, which outlines all of what their line items were for the previous year. I also want to add, just for some context on that, I believe it was 87,500. So one of the reasons why that's not separated into different line items is partly because of ILE, which is the Iowa Student Leadership Experience. And sometimes that's hosted at the University of Iowa, the University of Northern Iowa, and then sometimes we host it. And as we know from 2 weeks ago with Big 12 on the Hill, when you host something, it costs a lot more. And that's the reason why those were kind of clumped, because then in situations like that, you wouldn't have to worry as much about the line items, and you can't really line item transfer for contracts.
Yeah, sounds good. I think I have just a few minutes left, maybe a few seconds. So like you said, it's hard to navigate. So that'd be the interest in having it on this document so that anybody can see it. Anybody can look at our documents online and understand where those things are. And then additionally, with that, I think the flexible funding category of $5,000, if there's carryover requests and other things, maybe a different value would be more beneficial with that included, but flexible funding could accommodate for a rotating program per se, right? If you have carryover and that accumulates to, say, $8,000, or the amount of that is increased, and that's the cost of hosting it here, like you mentioned, I think that's a great option. And that also goes further in explaining where student dollars are going, rather than the contract and the language that we're seeing on item number 6.
Can I make a quick point about that or no?
Yeah. Yeah.
My understanding of the carryover is that it's not compounding, so there's no way to get to $8,000 in that category.
What if we change the amount of flexible funding to be 8, 10, 12, et cetera, $1,000 to be what the additional cost of hosting would be?
Sure. Yeah.
Do you know what that would be?
I don't. I mean,
ballpark?
Usually it's like a $10,000 or so swing, I would say.
Okay, so right now we're halfway there, but if we change it, let's say to 15, right, in flexible funding, would that accommodate that, and then we could break down and meet in the middle further on explaining line items?
If we're gonna, just really frank, if we're gonna break it down to line items, let's just do annual allocations, because that way we can talk about that then. If I don't want to lock myself into 4 years of annual allocations now. Does that make sense? Like, that's worse of a deal than us than
right. Annually you can change it with a 4-year contract with specific line items. You can't, and that's not of interest.
Correct.
Okay. I think I stand with this point of not approving this and instead going to annual allocations. I think it's simple. I think it's a system we've had. And I think there might be reasons from 2021 or 22 that this didn't go through that we should consider. Thank you.
Senator Miller.
Okay, thank you for coming and working with us on this, by the way. But right now, I don't really see how switching from funding through allocations to a contract benefits students. Like, I understand how it would benefit you, but I feel like we're losing the student voice in where the money specifically goes. I know we moved to a contract with theater. And I think theater's a lot different, and they don't. I just think it's different. Club Fest is great, but what would you say to those of us that don't see how a contract instead of allocations is in the best interest of students? How does it benefit students?
I think the most succinct thing that I can say is annual allocations puts the staff and student engagement in a position where we can't respond to you today with what you need next week. Like, we can't make a shift in our programming or plans if you decide that we need this special topic or special program for you next semester. We can't do that for you. We can't start planning today. And a contract will allow us to be more nimble to provide students with what they want right now. And it provides us the ability to make economical choices to maximize these dollars for this year and next year and the year after that, knowing what our amounts are going to be so we can plan for the future for you. So it actually allows us to deliver more with those dollars than it would be that if we go through annuals every year. So for instance, there are times where there are great, knowledgeable expert speakers on a topic that are routed through different parts of like the state. And we have to make a decision on whether or not we can bring those to campus because there's an economical advantage to them being routed through the area, for instance. We can't make that decision. It would take at least 3 weeks to get through Senate, and I have to know by Thursday, you know? So like, we can't bring that to you because we don't have the ability to shift those funds in those ways, whereas this, we would be able to do that. There are also times where, knowing what our budgets are going to be for the next year, there are times where if we book a speaker or a program or event and we guarantee that we're going to use them for more than 1 year in a row, that we can get like a 30% discount, which means that students pay less for that experience over time. But because we don't have the ability to make that guarantee, I'm not going to stake my reputation on the belief that student government will fund the switch of the funds. So I have to make a conservative decision instead of the best decision for students. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I guess one other thing would be, you mentioned that we chose not to move to a contract in 2022 or something like that. Do you know why?
Yeah, so what happened that year was we came to Senate, and that day at Senate, there was a program about how much money there was in contracts, and I think that made the room cold to the discussion of contracts, even though we were saying, annually, you fund us this amount, we would like to switch that, like here, we're trying to switch that from allocations into a contract. I think it became a non-starter. I think it was kind of a bad situation to go after that program, and it set us up for not an appetite for another contract, even though when I look at the dollars, it's like the dollars are just shifting on how it's being set up, it's not additional. Do you know what I mean? Like, it was not the same thing. So there are lots of questions about what we do for students. And then we got funded during annual allocations. We did the best we could with all the funding we could get, which is what we always try to do. But I think it was a situation where we were sort of, it was an uphill battle that day to explain it, because the contract number is a big number, and I understand that. So.
Awesome. And last thing, given that we can drop the contract at any time, I kind of I'd see this as like a temporary solution to like the issue of the slowness of student government. And I would say I would be interested in maybe exploring some other solution in the future that like still allows us a little more say in where the money would be going. But otherwise, thank you.
Senator Saney.
Thanks for being here, Kevin, and thanks for all the work you do for student engagement and students. And just point of information for all the senators over here who did not get time to take a look at the contract. In the second clause, it says, student engagement agrees to give a report in the form of program during one of the regular Senate meetings each year and outlining plans for programs and activities for that year and the coming year. So that also includes that what did student engagement use that money for as cost-to-cost breakdown, as we recently saw in the cent-by-cent breakdown by stugov and the people who worked in it. And is that true that we would see some breakdowns like that in there?
Yeah, it could include that. It doesn't specify that, but if that's a thing that I would anticipate during that program to be asked that question, so I would be ready to answer that question. So yeah, it would definitely include a breakdown. The question is like how granular, but all of our records are there, so it's not, we're not afraid of that. It just depends on like the format and how much time you all want. But I feel very comfortable being in front of you and explaining what we spend student dollars on and what we're trying to accomplish and what kinds of assessment we do and how we track that and all those things. Yes.
And I also think it's not the distrust of student government and student engagement. It's just the thing that has been hyped over this year as known as cent-by-cent breakdown. And a lot of organizations, it's pretty impressive. A lot of organizations have been coming in with, and we saw one yesterday in finance committee, they have like a cost-by-cost breakdown. So it was just a concern of that, not anything to highlight any mistrust in student engagement. We trust the whole work that you guys do and the efforts that you put in.
Great.
I yield.
Senator Curtis.
I want to reiterate what Senator Saney said. Thank you, Kevin, for being here, and thank you, Student Engagement, for all you do. But I want to add that I do share Senator Miller's concerns that I don't see the benefit of switching from an annual allocation model to a contract model, because I don't see how it benefits the students. I see how it benefits student engagement and how it benefits us in return. But it really shouldn't be about that. Additionally, Senator Miller brought up that theater contract. You talked about how it was different. I kind of want to bring to light how exactly it was different from this contract. So that theater contract, it included more specific line items and clear reporting on production costs. Student engagement's contract removes much of that transparency, allowing for discretionary spending that other student organizations I don't think really get from us. They receive over double the annual funding, along with flexible line items and discretionary spending that directly benefit our operations. But this really isn't comparable to funding a production focus group with strict line items like we did with theater. It gives them, student engagement, more flexibility, contract model rather than annual allocations, which means we're giving, I think, a first-class arrangement to an organization that isn't structured like a student org, unlike theater. So that's kind of where I see the differences between the theater contract that we approved versus the student engagement contract. Additionally, we've been talking about how we can cancel this contract at any time, but I believe, don't we have to have a 2/3 Senate vote as well as petitioning and give a 12-month notice before we can cancel the contract? Could you clarify that for us, please?
Can you scroll to that part of the document so I can read it? So it's in point, yeah. I mean, you can read it for yourselves. That's the process. I didn't develop that process specifically, but yeah, we would need some kind of notice. And my understanding of it is that would end it, and then we would have to figure out what's the funding process, if there is a funding process through student government or not. Essentially, it kind of like locks in the current fiscal year you're in, and then I believe that's in explaining that it would be the next year would, depending on when that occurred, it would depend on the next fiscal year, essentially. Okay. But you can read the process. Like I said, I didn't develop that.
Well, thank you, Kevin. I yield.
Senator Jones.
We met yesterday in finance and we talked about this bill. So I was in finance committee last year and we had annual allocations for student engagement. I remember sitting through that and going line item by line item. Kevin came yesterday and talked about, I asked him the same question about why switching from allocations to a contract, it allows them stability and able to do the things that they would like to do instead of cutting costs, because they won't know what kind of money they'll get next year. So it's, by switching to a contract would mean they'd be able to fully do all the programs to support the students and to put bigger programs through at a cheaper cost because they can plan it ahead years at a time. And I think it's really important because when we give them that money, it's going back to the students directly with the programs like ISLE and so many other things. So giving them that stability to go ahead of time to plan those things, because if we did allocations, if some of you are unsure how allocations work, it's for the fiscal year. And so they're only able to plan for that fiscal year, but giving them the money ahead of time, be able to plan years ahead of time.
Senator Grafe. Just a reminder, we have about 3 minutes left of debate.
I'll be speedy so other people can go. Thank you for being here. So I will be honest, at first, I had some thoughts on this contract as well, as other senators have expressed. But I think it's so valuable that Kevin was here today because he answered all of my concerns so well. And I think it's very important, the note that he said that this will speed efficiency of student engagement. And that is something constituents have expressed thoroughly as a frustration with student engagement to me and to you, and I bet you have all experienced at some point. That isn't all the time, by the way. But to answer the complaint earlier of how is this going to serve students, how could it not serve students when it helps the well-oiled machine that provides students the services it needs for its organizations to run? And I think that's something we need to consider here. And a quick question, is there hopes eventually in the future for there to be another source of funding besides student government?
Yeah, I would say yes. To keep in mind that all of the staff time that's put into to providing all of this is more than this amount of money. A staff member plus their benefits and all the things that go with it, it's already, the Memorial Union is already supporting that in lots of ways. It's just not the program dollars. We're always looking for ways to share costs. ISLE is a great example on efficiencies between multiple regional institutions even. So yes, always looking for that. I would love to see different models, and am interested if other folks want to talk about, is there a different method to go about funding all these things? Definitely. But what I don't want to do is make it a pay to play thing where you want to be a club at Iowa State that costs X number of dollars per year. That is a model at other institutions, and we do not have that. We remove those barriers, and I do not want to create barriers for students. And I think that a contract helps us keep everything on an even playing field for all students, but I do want to seek other funding sources, certainly.
Okay, thank you.
About 30 seconds left. Senator Iona Dimhoff.
If you don't mind, if I could motion to extend debate by 15 minutes.
There's been a motion to extend debate by 15 minutes. Is there a second?
Second.
Are there any objections? Senator Iona Dimhoff.
First of all, thank you so much for coming in tonight. I just have a couple questions. So my first one is, I couldn't find it online, as Finance Director Noah said it's so hard to navigate like the finance thing. How much did you receive in annual allocations for like this past year?
Hold on, hold please. We received 109,892.
Okay. And then my next question is, so this would be 122,000 each year. I just want to make sure, like, is it sustainable for you guys to have the same amount of funding for each year? Just because in some of our other contracts, we've seen like gradual increases down the line. So I just want to make sure the same dollar amount was purposeful.
Yeah, I think it is. I ran some projections, and it looks like somewhere around year 2 to 3 is where some of my projections would be, like maybe where our amounts would exceed that. But I think with the carryovers and other things, I would prefer stability over. If student government senate thinks that flat makes the most sense for all of you, then I'm all for it. If I don't know that like increasing those amounts over time. I think consistency, and within that consistency, our ability to be flexible within kind of those different line items, that's going to be the biggest help for us. So I feel confident, and I've talked to the other folks in the office that would be working on these programs, that they said, yes, we can, like this amount for 4 years, good. And we don't have to make it more complicated in any other way.
Perfect. Thank you so much. Just want a clarification.
Yeah.
I yield.
I'm gonna get a drink of water, hold on.
Senator Neal.
Hi, I just wanted to start by saying thank you for coming and speaking to us and answering our many questions for you. And thank you to everyone for asking questions about this contract. I think it's really important that we are really thorough about doing our job, but I just wanted to kind of voice my support for moving this over to a contract. We know Finance Committee met with Kevin and had this conversation, and this has been through rules. And we're here to benefit students. In my opinion, I feel like if we can give stability to an organization that benefits a lot of students, we're therefore giving stability to those students who are able to know that they can rely on this program to continue to provide them with Club Fest and all these great things that students are able to use over the year. I just think if we're able to make things consistent and make sure that students have continued access, that we, moving to a contract is a lot different than annual allocations, but that doesn't necessarily mean it's a bad thing. Thank you. I yield.
Senator Margaret.
Fair enough. All right. Well, as has already been said, thank you, Kevin, for being here. Really appreciate it. I know we've been through this in Rules Committee, and you've been to Finance, I'm sure, a couple of times as well. So appreciate your time. And, like Senator Neal was saying, I really appreciate having a good conversation about this. I don't want to talk for very long, but I wanted to at least hit on and reiterate a couple of things that have already been said tonight. I think I can absolutely see how moving to a contract model is extremely beneficial for student engagement. I don't think that's necessarily something that's being disputed, but I'm more so approaching this from a perspective of spending student dollars. There are 31,105 students at this university, ignoring the way in which kind of graduate fees are a little bit different. All of those students give us $80 a year, and it's our responsibility to make sure we're giving that money back to students in ways that benefit them in as many ways as possible. And having a contract where, because it benefits student engagement, the line items are not incredibly specific is something that makes me uneasy. I would say that we talk about Club Fest, which I think is incredible, and we talk about ISLE and these other things. There's a little bit of description of what may be included in this funding, but you're not, if we're voting yes on this contract and we're passing it, we're not getting a guarantee of Club Fest or of ISLE or of any of these other things that we talked about. We're investing in the idea of student engagement and the likelihood that they continue to do these things. And so I think that's sort of the benefit of keeping this as an annual allocation, is that we know specifically what we're investing in, we know the services we're getting, and there's some specificity with the student money that we're stewards of. And so voting no or not passing this does not mean we're zero funding student engagement. If you choose to do it that way, it means they go back through annual allocation. So I'm not sitting here saying let's not give student engagement money. I'm saying I think it perhaps is a more appropriate avenue to keep student engagement going through annual allocations the way that we've been doing it. We talk a little bit about having that report from student engagement, but that's again a little bit more of a reactive thing where we're being told what our money is being spent on. We don't have necessarily the same influence. And when I say our money, student money, we don't necessarily have that same influence to decide whether or not those things align with our priorities. Right? Because you look at annual allocations, and a lot of the time, it's student groups like Winterfest. To give an example for people who were here in Senate last year, they wanted additional funding for some decorations for their event. They came to Senate, and last year's Senate decided it wasn't something that aligned with our priorities. And so it just feels wrong to me that we would enter into something like this and have to look student groups in the eye and say, we're hyper-specific, we want you to be responsible, but you look at these other non-student groups, we don't have those same sort of expectations of them. it just seems like we're setting, again, sort of a preferential treatment for a non-student group when our goal is getting money back in the hands of students as much as is possible. And so I think, again, just to kind of end it here, if our goal in student government is and continues to be transparency and fiscal responsibility, I think moving this over to a contract model is something that gets us further away from that. So I yield.
Senator Bernal.
Thank you once again for being here. A bunch of people have already said already. I'm personally in support of approving this contract. I think it's beneficial for both student engagement and the students themselves to allow a bit more flexibility and understanding of what may happen if we want to add another program or how to plan for the future. I think being able to plan for the future, 3-4 years ahead, is very important considering everything at play. Personally, in my opinion, the concerns about how the student engagement contract may differ with the theater contract. I've just been looking over the two. I've been doing that for a while now. And I think that student engagement has to deal with more than what theater had to do. Theater's production costs, that's a lot more simpler. And what student engagement, just for example, if we name something specific in there that basically treats it as they have to keep it that way for the next 4 years, theater didn't have to do something like that. We just named it stuff like set supplies, and that was good there. So I think student engagement has something similar. I fully approve of this contract. I enjoy the discussion on both sides that we've had, and I just want to once again personally voice my support for this.
Senator Lima Barbosa.
Hi, so thanks for being here. I think you heard that way too many times, but anyways. So I think something that I was thinking over here is that if we choose to go through a contract with you guys, I think lectures and what's the other thing? Rec service has like a small committee of students that they can voice their opinions and how student engagement should be acting. I think if we do end up going through the contract, I think that might be a solution for us to keep a student voice into that. Mm-hmm. It's mainly a suggestion or I don't know specifically how student engagement works, but that's just something that I personally thought that might be interesting of adding.
Yeah. I mean, I think we're always interested in the student. And my office is literally below where you're sitting, so I'm not far away. Christine is one of your advisors. She's my supervisor. So there is a direct pipeline for all of you to voice any of that with either Christine or Chad, he's my boss's boss, or Brad. There's already a pipeline for you to offer that feedback now. We're open to your feedback regardless of contract. If Student Government Senate wants to have some sort of formalized board, sure. That's what if that's what you need to see. I want students to come in and say, I'd like to see this, I'd like to see that. Why did you pick this? Why didn't you pick that? I'm 100% on board for that. I want to hear the student voice because ultimately this is about giving students the best experience they want or they can get with providing their fee dollars to you and then you helping allocate them to where they should go. So I'm 100% supportive of that. I want to know what you all want to see and beyond that. We already have several boards of students that we pull together. It'd be easy to pull one more together to ask them about these kinds of things. We already have something which all of you could apply for. It's called Student Organization Review Committee, and they look at the formation of new student organizations, and several of you have been part of that over time. Noah comes to that sometimes, and Santi from election commissions on it, and some others. Will come in and be part of new organization formation, and it'd be very easy to either use that group again or pull in another group to get more feedback on the kinds of things that we want to do. We used to have it, and then student interest in that waned, and then we continued to do programming without that. We had something called lead team that did that. I'm so old, what's old is new is old again, so.
Speaker Pursley.
Hi,
About 5 minutes left of debate.
Thank you, Kevin, for being here. We've been in a lot of conversation through 2 rules committee meetings and anything before that. I'd just like to mention, I think Sophia brings up a good point. We also have contracts with lectures and rec services and other organizations that are very similar. And so I think it would be more appropriate to move student engagement into a contract similar to our other organizations we support, similar to it. Again, we would never put in our lectures contract every specific lecture that they are going to have for the next 4 years. That would just not be appropriate at all. I would also like to mention that there are a lot of safeguards in this contract. I don't foresee student engagement using our money in a inappropriate manner. I think they're very transparent and direct with the fact that they want to support students, and all the events that they host are for students. I also don't think that student engagement would drop Club Fest out of the blue without telling anyone. It's not something I foresee.
I love Club Fest, for the record. I'm not gonna get rid of Club Fest.
But I do think there's a lot of safeguards, and even though the line items aren't super specific and by event, it still gives what kind of events they have to create under these lines. And so that is a safeguard. You know, if they're not going to be within these categories, then obviously it's not going to be an appropriate use of money. So for that reason, I'm supporting this contract. I think it's really great, and we've worked really hard on it.
Senator Kuzi.
Just a couple thoughts. I know it's not much time, so I'm going to go very fast. So Committee on Lectures has a student board that helps establish different things. There's Sports Club Council. There's all kinds of student boards. I would say that this needs to be included in the bill. And then another thought is, if we're doing flexible funding for all of it, I think all of the line items should go under flexible funding for $122,000 if we're pursuing that. Otherwise, again, we've said that we can say no to this and instead do it through allocations. Those are my thoughts, and that's probably time. Thank you.
Was that a motion or?
Yeah, so the motion I guess I'd have here is having a student board facilitate critical decisions in the spending of the contract allocated dollars.
Is there anywhere where you'd like that in the contract?
I think we're going to run out of time here.
You can continue making your motion.
Any suggestions from the Senate?
So it was for a board, and what was the second piece? To make it all flexible funding?
I'm going to ignore that second one for now. So the motion that I'd like to propose here is having a student board help make the decisions of where this is going. Do you have specific wording that you could help with this?
I feel like if you were to do that, you could put finance committee instead, because we already oversee the numbers and all that stuff.
Yes, I like that a lot. Okay, so I will amend my motion, and I think I'm looking at number 2 there, so I think we can put that. How about we put it at the end? Sorry, this is all coming very fast. Also, I'm seeing 7, 8, 10, 9, 10. So that's a friendly to change those numbers. But once that's sorted out, either 11 or 12, wherever that lies towards the end of the contract, I would say decisions of funding categories or funding, I don't know, please help me with the language.
How about this? There's been a motion to add a point before end contract that has student engagement create an advisory board for the facilitation of these funds. Is that a motion you'd like to make?
Yeah, and I'll just say it myself so it comes out of my words. So looking at line 129 in this contract, I'd move to include language that, again, I think it should be number 12, that makes an advisory board composed of student government finance committee members who determines and advises on the reports of student engagement in their decisions of where funding goes from this contract.
Okay, could you type that in there?
Yes, I will make a comment, but it looks like there's other discussion, so I think that'll work good.
Okay. Who was first year? Senator Lima Barbosa.
So
Is this on your objection to the motion?
yeah.
Okay, go
So
ahead.
first, I don't think we should having it through go to finance, every finance expense, it's almost going through annual allocation constantly. And I don't think that's a workable process. My recommendation was to have like a board of like how lectures goes, that like students recommend things and talk about it and give ideas, not something that necessarily they approve the use of that money, because I think then it's a contract is to make it, this contract would be to make it easier, and then adding all of those steps is to make it hyper more complicated than it should be. I think if we're gonna add a board, it should be like a way of having students engage in student engagement than having like a legal binding way of having more control of their finance.
In the meantime, is there a motion to add Senator Corsi to the roll? Are there any objections?
I'm getting water again.
Okay, I think you should be able to see that now. Yes, number 12. Again, I think the numbers could be off here. There's
Senator Kuzi has made a motion to add number 12, student engagement shall establish an advisory committee comprised of finance committee members who will discuss and advise on the financial decisions of student engagement under dollars allocated in this contract. The intent of this group is to view and engage with student engagement and their decisions related to the current needs of students through this advisory board. Is there a second? Is there a second? Are there any objections? Speaker Pursley?
Could we change it to instead say student engagement shall establish an advisory committee who discuss and advise on student events? I don't think it should be necessarily about the financial decisions or restrict it to finance committee. I think it more should just be any student in general is allowed to be on this advisory committee, similar to the ISUPD advisory committee and the lectures committee. Any student can be on this, discuss ideas. Don't limit the conversation to finances. Let's just talk about student engagement and their programs and what we want to see. And any student should be allowed to do that.
great idea. It's in addition to all of the others that have made this comment. So kind of compiling these, I would amend the motion to the new comment, which I'll type on the document, again as number 12. Student engagement shall establish an advisory committee of any, say, activity-paying student who advises on the decision-making of student engagement, the operations of student engagement, if that's better, to speak to everything, including the events. Activities. Okay, yes. Let me say that one more time. So number 12.
Can you type that? Because I'm going to have to repeat that. So if you could just type it, that'd be great.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, it's being typed right now. Number 12, student engagement shall establish an advisory committee comprised of activity fee paying students who advise on the activities of student engagement. Period.
Senator Kuzi has amended his original motion to say student engagement shall establish an advisory committee comprised of students who would advise on the activities held by student engagement. Is there a second? Are there any objections? Senator Lima Barbosa.
I feel like adding this to a contract without a proper discussion in rules and finance, it's not the responsible way. What my suggestion was, it was a suggestion to the office, because if we add this to the contract, we're adding in someone's responsibility to create all of this, which is probably not in their contract, not in their the contract, the working contract. So I feel like this should be almost like an advice or like a request. I don't know the proper wording I want to use for this, but not a legal requirement for student engagement.
I think that's fair. I do have one question for you, Kevin. Let's say this gets approved in February instead. What does that impact if this were to be drafted and fixed and made perfect, right? What would that impact if this was instead approved as a contract in February?
It would be, we'd have to start our annual allocations process by then. So we'd have to spend time on that, which would be, the goal of doing this now was so we could alleviate staff time on that. So that would be a negative. I think any conversation about adding this sort of thing is fine to have now. I'm not that concerned about establishing something like this. I'm also more interested in establishing an advisory committee doesn't mean that students join it. So I'm afraid that the way it's worded puts us in a situation where if we do establish it and we recruit for it and we get one student, that's not student's voice. So I think that that concerns me about being in a contract where what does that mean for the things I can't control? Like I can't control that students will volunteer their time to serve on this. I think I can get students' feedback on things in a number of ways. So if you want to instead request that we use assessment or other tools to find students' interests in the programs that we're doing, that makes more sense. Because if I pick 5 students, that doesn't mean they're representative. So I worry about that. I do not have any concern about listening to students' voice and changing what we're doing to make the best programs for students. So I'm not sure this gets to what you want, but I do worry about that. So pushing this off till later, I don't think will solve that part of my concern, to be honest.
And then when do you think you're going to start on that allocations work?
January.
January, okay.
Yeah.
There's currently an objection on the floor. Do you withdraw your motion?
I would amend the motion. So I would amend that to include, sorry, one second. Yeah, so I'll amend the motion to say instead, student engagement shall, what was the word you used, Kevin? Understand, or was it not survey, but?
I think it's use, I don't know what I said exactly. The feeling of it is more like we'll use student feedback, assessments, focus groups, et cetera, to ensure that we're providing quality programs for the students at Iowa State University. That's kind of like where I'm feeling, like I don't have the words, I have like more like I'm grasping at feelings, folks.
Yes, it's simple and high level, and I think that's gonna do a lot better job here.
Yeah.
So if we're in agreement on this, I would amend the motion here to say student engagement shall assess the feedback of students and input in activities.
Yep.
I think that makes it cut and dry in the contract. It makes it part of it, and it puts kind of that student feeling to it of we can help change this in a way other than canceling a contract. So I think that's great, and with this motion, I'd be in favor of it, and I think others would too.
Point of information, can we change, can we amend things in contracts after we sign them? I'm curious because the way I ask this is because maybe we spend a little more time later on breaking down and really typing this out and thoroughly thinking it through. I'm a big fan of having an advisory council, but I'm afraid if we put this in writing, it's there forever, and we didn't fully think our way through all of this, and I really want to make sure it's benefit for us, for the students, and for student engagement. So I'm just wondering, can we put things in contracts after?
So your first question was about adding things to contracts after they've been signed. So we just said with the trash can that we can't. So I think we can work off of that and say no on that, but if someone else has input, that would be appreciated too. Yes.
Sorry. I think it is highly valuable that we have further discussion on how we properly want to assess student engagement events through rules and in office spaces together, collaborate. And I think that we can trust student engagement enough and even have further those conversations with Kevin to establish that best and then put it in writing in another way than rather in the contract.
Okay, and can I ask a question in return to that, in response? So the way the amendment is seen on the screen, is that loose enough that that's able to be done in the future, but good enough that it could be on there today so that this can be approved and not affect students or student engagement with what we said with allocations? What are your all thoughts on that?
Senator Kuzi has amended his original motion to now state student engagement shall assess the feedback and consider student opinions on the activities held by student engagement.
Is that a question to me?
If you can give input on it if you'd like to, briefly.
We already do this, so yes, we can do this.
Is there a second?
Second.
Are there any objections?
Object.
Senator Jones?
I just think we are moving past this so fast, and we're not giving it our full attention and thought that I think that we should.
Okay. Do you withdraw your motion?
Wait, also, really fast, sorry. Where is this? Number 10, upon authorization of both parties, this agreement may be amended as necessary. So we can amend this and add it in the bill, add it in this contract later on. I don't think we should be rushing into this. Kevin, do you agree? I don't agree we should be rushing into this. Kevin, are you open to having an advisory council and amending this later on?
Sure, absolutely.
Perfect. Look at that.
Senator Kuzi, do you withdraw your original motion?
What a great resolution. Yes, I do.
All right. All right. I believe we have now ended debate. There's been a motion to extend debate by 10 minutes. It's been seconded. Are there any objections? All right, debate will be extended for another 10 minutes.
I'm getting more water.
It's been called to question and seconded. Are there any objections? Senator Iona Dimhoff? It was called to question and seconded. Did you object? Can you state your objection? Can you use your mic?
I just have one thing I want to say. Sorry.
She withdrew her motion.
Do I have speaking privilege now?
Yes.
Okay. So I do know that there's a decent amount of hesitance with kind of such flexibility with contract, and I do want to bring up the fact that flexibility is possible going through annual allocations, because within there can be a line item about extra event costs or just an extra line item meant for flexibility spending. So in my opinion, going through annual allocations, we can achieve flexibility for student engagement, but also the transparency that we just feel more comfortable with when it comes to spending student dollars. And so I just wanted to voice that, in my opinion, annual allocations, we can achieve both at the same time. So I yield.
Senator Margaret.
I know we're looking to end debate, so I promise you I'll be extremely quick. I just wanted to chime in once again with a reminder that if you vote no or abstain on this, it's not a vote to not fund student engagement. It's a vote to keep them in the annual allocations process, which, for many of the reasons that we've discussed, may be more appropriate, more transparent, more responsible.
Can I make a statement about the flexibility bit? I don't know the rules, so I like them.
Yeah.
We tried to get flexible amounts of money for at least 2 years, and both times it was not accepted. So we've attempted that through annual allocations. It was unsuccessful, which kind of led us towards the contract. So although it's possible, my experience has been that is not what annual allocations is built for, and we've attempted to do that. We were, that part didn't make it through Finance Committee.
It's been called to question and seconded. Are there any objections? Closing comments? All right, we'll move forward with a roll call vote. Iona Dimhoff. Curtis? Kuzi? Saini? Jones? Einwalter?
Yes.
Hartley?
Yes.
Gardy?
Yes.
Graybill?
Yes.
Dahman?
Yes.
Grafe?
Yes.
Utica?
No.
Miller? One more time?
No.
Bernal?
Yes.
Cocoon?
Yes.
Valenzuela? Sorry, Corsi?
Yes.
Valenzuela? Bailey? Olson? Pursley?
Yes.
Nandal?
Yes.
Lima Barbosa? Neal? Margaret?
No.
Schilling?
Yes.
Martins? Fliggy?
Yes.
Saini? Valenzuela? Martins? Valenzuela?
Yes.
With a vote of 17 to 5, the bill did not pass.
Great.
We'll now move to 2025-2-050F, funding for the Wildlife Society Student Conclave Travel with Senator Saney.
Hello. Is this mic working?
Yes, he'll speak first, and then he'll call on you if that sounds good.
Yeah.
But you can stand up there. That's okay.
Okay.
Yes.
This bill was seen as finance yesterday and was passed favorably to the Senate, and I would encourage the representatives to talk.
Hi, I'm the treasurer for the Wildlife Society here at Iowa State. We're asking for funding to help go to a conclave that we try to attend every year. It's hosted by UW Stevens Point. We're a professional development workshop, so this would help our club and its members that are able to attend come to this conclave where we will work with professionals, learn about their work, do workshops for things that we do in the field, and it's a great way to network with not only professionals but other young professionals in this career. But we are asking for help with funding to attend this.
Senator Grafe.
Okay, so I've worked with the Wildlife Society before, and I definitely can attest to some of their organizational struggles, especially with funding. And this money is very much needed and will definitely be very helpful. Conclave is such a pivotal event to their organization, and it's like their networking and the event of the year for their club. So I can definitely attest that this is a well-organized student organization, and this money will be well spent. So.
It's been called to question and seconded. Are there any objections? Closing comments? No closing comments. We'll now move forward to the roll call vote. Iona Dimhoff. Gertis. Kuzi. Saney. Jones. Einwalter. Hartley. Gardy. Graybill. Dahman. Grafe. Utica. Miller. Bernal. Cocoon. Valenzuela. Corshi. Bailey. Olson. Pursley. Nundahl. Lima Barbosa. Neal. Margret. Schilling. Martins. Fliggy. Vote of 27 to 0 to 0. The bill passes. Congratulations. We'll now move to 2025-2-051F, funding for Gamero Lamba Pride Prom. Senator Saney.
This bill was also seen in finance, and I would yield my time to Finance Director Kamar.
Hi, everyone. So we saw this in finance, and unfortunately, they had to leave just due to how long the meeting was going. They had a mandatory meeting at 7:30 that they quite literally can't miss just based on what their organization is. So this is a Pride Prom, which is available to all students. Something you'll notice is that it comes through the events account, so it is not bound by PNC. So each of the line items are essentially, because they aren't bound by PNC, we're able to fund each of those line items. In addition to that, we have about $20,000 in the events budget that we'd like to, or that we're trying to spend this year. So far, we've only spent a little under $2,000 in that. So this event would definitely contribute to that. If you have any questions, let me know. I can hopefully provide insight on this. Thank you.
Been called to question and seconded. Are there any objections? Closing comments? No closing comments. We'll now move forward with a roll call vote. Iona Dimhoff. Gertis. Kuzi. Saney. Jones. Einwalter. Hartley. Gardy. Graybill. Dahman. Grafe. Utica. Miller. Bernal. Cocoon. Corshi? Valenzuela? Bailey? Olson? Pursley? Nandal? Lima Barbosa? Neal? Margaret? Schilling? Martins? Fliggy? The vote of 27 to 0 to 0, the bill passes. Congratulations. We'll now move to 2025-2-052F, funding for Strata with Senator Jones.
Hi, everyone. We saw this bill in Finance Committee, and can a representative come to the podium and tell us about your funding request?
Hi, everyone. My name is Jacob Goslink. I'm the co-president of Strata. And so Strata is a student publication that the Department of Architecture has. It's currently been going on for about 5 years. And our main struggle is with funding. To produce the book, we operate at a loss, so students can have the book accessible to them. And so we currently sell the book at $25 a copy. And usually we sell about 100 copies. And so we have done fundraising through Iowa State events such as football, but we still would operate at a loss by about $1,200 to publish this year's book. And we would think it would be a great idea to collaborate with student government and funding. And also this would help, funding would help produce this book as well as next year's publication. Thank you.
Senator Lima Barbosa.
I just want to put my support in this bill. I know how hard they work, and I know it turns out very pretty. And this is a great way of showing off work, which it's very important for us architecture students. So I value this a lot, and I think you guys should vote yes, because it's a very cool project.
Senator Bernal.
I know you mentioned that these funds would also be used to fund next year's book, but when I'm reading the bill, it says that the funds shall expire at the end of the fiscal year 2026 on June 30th, 2026. So would that be able to happen or no? Or that's addressed to anyone, really?
Yeah, can you repeat that one more time?
So you said that you want to fund this year's publication and next year's publication. And by my understanding, that would next year's publication happen after June 30th, 2026?
No, you are correct. It would just be for this year's publication.
Oh, okay.
Sorry. We start collecting work in this, within that time period, but we would not start selling it, I guess, until after that period.
Speaker Pursley.
I would also just like to mention that they can do a carryover request if they wanted to use those funds in the next fiscal year. My question is, what does the acronym of the organization stand for?
So how Strata was initiated was like layers in the atmosphere. So each layer or each publication is within that strata. So like currently we've produced 5 layers within that strata. And so that's kind of like the play on words for the student organization.
Thank you.
Yep.
It's been called to question and seconded. Are there any objections? Closing comments? All right, we'll now move forward with a roll call vote. Iona Dimhoff. Yes. Gertis. Yes. Kuzi.
Yes.
Saini. Yes. Jones. Yes. Einwalter.
Yes.
Hartley. Yes. Gardy. Yes. Graybill. Bauman.
Yes.
Graith.
Yes.
Utica.
Yes.
Miller.
Yes.
Bernal.
Yes.
Kekun.
Yes.
Corshi.
Yes.
Valenzuela.
Yes.
Bailey. Olson. Pursley. Nandal. Lima Barbosa. Neal. Margaret. Schilling. Martins. Fliggy. With a vote of 27 to 0 to 0, the bill passes. Congratulations.
Thank you.
We'll now move to 2025-2-001J, honoring President Wendy Winterstein's service and retirement with Senator Gertis.
Okay, so this joint resolution was seen on first read last meeting before break. It intends to honor Dr. Wendy Winterstein, Iowa State's 16th president and the first woman to hold this role. Over her 46-year career at ISU, she has served in many capacities, from professor to dean of the College of Agriculture and Life Sciences, and ultimately to president, leaving a lasting impact on research, entrepreneurship, student success, and the cycling community. Under her leadership, Iowa State earned national recognition for innovation and entrepreneurship, maintained high graduate placement rates, and fostered a student-centered, welcoming campus. She has also built strong collaborative relationships with student government, consistently valuing student voices in decision-making. This resolution is co-signed by a majority of student government senators and cabinet members and expresses our deepest gratitude for her decades of service and historic contributions. A signed copy of this resolution will be presented to Dr. Winterstein to commemorate her leadership and lasting impact on Iowa State University.
Vice Speaker Hartley.
I just wanted to thank Senator Gertis for dedicating some time on this. I think this is a great way to honor her service. Thank you.
UC.
It's been called a question and seconded. UC has been called for. Is there a second?
Second.
Are there any objections? Bills passed with unanimous consent. We'll now move to 2025-2-003A, confirming the fiscal year 2027 priorities and criteria. Senator Jones.
Hey everyone. So this is our priorities and criteria for Finance Committee for fiscal year 2027. We went over this in Finance Committee pretty thoroughly, and I have to mention it was sent super favorably from Finance Committee. So if you have any questions.
Senator Gertis, Senator Kuzi. You're wearing the same shirt, guys.
Pretty close, sorry for that. So we see the removal of eligibility criteria number 10. The organization shall not have a mission consistent with or directed towards a particular academic program or major at Iowa State University. So does that mean a student organization that is underneath, say, the Engineering Student Council or LAS Council or a specific council, and they get allocations from that group, can they get funding from student government by the removal of this eligibility? And that can be yielded to whoever would like to answer it.
Can you repeat the question?
Yes. So number 10 is being removed under eligibility. That is page number 5, if we could put it on the screen. So that one is the organization, basically the mission of an academic program or major is being removed. So does that make a student organization under the Engineering Student Council, LAS Council, et cetera, able to be funded by student government if they have already received allocations from that council?
Yes. So actually, that's the case right now already. So you can receive money from, say, LAS Council or from ESC or something like that. Now, this is just opening it up for ones that are just like maybe specify, like the sociology club or something like that, where it's open to everyone because it has to be open to all activity fee paying students. But at the same time, it might be labeled as like a major or something like that.
So then would number 10 go hand in hand with number 7, the org shall not receive funding from one or more academic departments or colleges? Are those hand in hand, or where are those separated?
Yeah, so an academic department, that'd be like the Department of Political Science or the College of Engineering or something like that, which is separate from like a student council.
Got it, thank you. I'll yield.
Senator Saney. Speaker Persley.
Okay, I have one small thing. In the header, starting on page 10, it says Iowa State University fiscal year 2027. Could we add student government after Iowa State University just so that it's consistent? That could probably be a friendly.
I would also have a friendly on that. That looks like an image, and the image has page number 10 on every page. So removing that would be helpful as well. It looks like an image. So if that's text instead in a header format, that might be simple.
Richard too.
I mean, I don't know if I can like make a new header right now, but yes, I will update that when possible.
Do you accept that as a friendly, those two as Senator Jones? Awesome. Those corrections will be made. Vice Speaker Hartley?
Okay, it could be my ignorance, but why are there so many highlights? What are these like amendments? They seem like they would be friendly amendments, but I just am unsure, and there's a bunch of different colors, so.
So just in general of all the highlights, so we fixed a lot of grammatical errors with the highlights, and then also we just went through each by line, looking at like how to make it fit best. So like if you want to pull up a specific one that I can talk about, like we added, like when they say funding by student government, it used to be like funding with students for student government or something like along that line, so we changed that to make it more cohesive.
Those are the finance rules amendments?
Yeah.
Okay, or finance committee, I mean. Okay, I yield.
Green, yellow, red.
Senator Kuzi?
One more line I'd like to bring everyone's attention to. The screen's going a little crazy, but that's just fine. That's fine. Please keep going. I know there's lots of changes with getting the fiscal year image change. So the line that I want to bring everyone's attention to is a change of the exemption of eligibility of URAC, or United Residents of Off-Campus. So previously it looks like URAC was exempt from number 5, that URAC cannot be funded under the PNC. Sorry, exempting. One second.
Can I just yield to Senator Nondal to explain this one?
Yeah. Yeah, please.
I think I suggest this change in the PNC is because since United Residents, URAC functions as a constituency council, and we don't host a number of events, I don't think it's appropriate to get money from student government. I think it's more appropriate for URAC as URAC president to get funding by fundraising and engaging with our constituents.
Okay. The only reason I brought this up is because we had at least 2 new senators come to URAC, and before they were sat in Senate, they expressed interest of having more events. So if those people wanted to speak about, you know, what funding could do for them with events through URAC, that could be helpful. Otherwise, we can talk about that as events come up. Sorry to put you on the spot, but I know that was a topic.
I just feel like any events that URAC might want to host, that's something student government can host as well. So I don't think that could be separated. If that's your idea, like for events and your senators want to host events, that's something student government can hold as well through the events committee. Also would like to say that URAC should have funds by fundraising and getting events to there. I know this is more like a constituency council opinion. I don't think that's appropriate to be talked about here.
Yeah, I would agree with that. It is a little strange that just URAC was included. So if anyone, especially FD area, if you know why URAC was particularly included as an exemption, you know, that might enlighten us a little bit.
Yeah, so essentially URAC, unlike many other constituency councils, doesn't have like a traditional way of getting funds through like fees or through vending machines or anything like that. Because of that, that's probably why they were initially included as, oh, they can just request money from student government. However, I think as Senator Nondal added, that just doesn't really make sense now, and it makes more sense for us just to not fund constituency councils and not have exceptions to that policy, and they can have their own fundraisers like I mean, most student organizations do.
I think that helps a lot. Thank you.
It's been called to question and seconded. Are there any objections? Closing comments? Closing comments. Move forward with a roll call vote. Iona Dimhoff. Yes. Gertis. Kuzi.
Yes.
Saini.
Yes.
Jones. Einwalter.
Yes.
Hartley.
Yes.
Gardy. Yes. Graybill. Dowman.
Yes.
Graith.
Yes.
Utica.
Yes.
Miller.
Yes.
Bernal.
Yes.
Kikun.
Yes.
Archie.
Yes.
Valenzuela. Bailey. Olson. Pursley. Nandal. Lima Barbosa. Neal. Margaret.
Yes.
Schilling. Martins. Fliggy. The vote of 27 to 0 to 0, the bill passes. We'll now move to 2025-2-053F, funding for Lunch and Learn series with Sender Saini.
This bill was also seen in finance yesterday and was passed favorably to the Senate. And I would urge the constituents from this committee to talk about the bill.
Okay, hi everyone. So the last couple of weeks, Molly and I have begun to plan the Lunch and Learn series. So for this, we're looking to kind of take some of the feedback and notes from the transition doc from the last year, the Know Your Leaders, just to improve it. So this year we are looking to move it to during the daytime, so hopefully more students will come, and then also offering a free lunch kind of as another incentive to get people to come. So the series of 4 events will happen, 2 in February, 2 in March. All of them will be from 11:30 to 12:30 in the Student Innovation Center. The cap for the people who can attend will be 50 just due to constraints, and then they will additionally have to pre-register to attend the event. And that registration will be sent out via a mass email, and then we'll also do A-frame signs around campus to advertise for the event. For lunch, we're going to be getting the Chick-fil-A boxed meals. We've worked with them in previous events, and they're super nice to work with. They can do tax exempt, everything pretty easily like that. Yeah, so we're requesting for there to be $2,970 for this event. Any questions?
Senator Kuzi.
Sorry, was I first?
You were.
Oh, okay. Have you, so looking back at Cookies and College Center, there's, the engineering students were placed in one building, then moved to another. Is the Student Innovation Center the right space for this? Is there a space that you can have this capacity of people with food? And I guess other questions are, do you have the leaders picked, and can you share those? And do you have the dates picked, and can you share those?
So are you just like wondering about like why we picked the Student Innovation Center, or what is?
Sure.
So we selected that place because rather than doing the MU, you can bring in outside catering. It's also, I feel like, a pretty accessible place for students to go in on campus. Like, I bet probably most of us have been in the Student Innovation Center within the last semester. It's a welcoming environment for students to be in. So that was kind of the reasoning there for that. And then for the leaders yet, we're waiting to reach out to them until we for sure have funding so that we know we can have the event. But we do have like a short list of people we'll be reaching out to.
Okay, and then will each of those fall into the 4 categories in the first whereas? You know, campus, city athletics, and university leadership. Is that the intention fit?
Yes.
Each one of those?
Yep.
Okay. And then,
depending on like their availability.
so specifically, thank you for that. So specifically with this innovation center, you know, with the capacity of 50 people and food, you know, is there a space that you have in mind that will not have people walking up and trying to get food as well, you know, that again can fit 50 people and be
Yep.
able to serve food out of that space?
Yep, so we'll be in a conference room on the 2nd floor. And additionally, for like the serving food thing, they're all pre-boxed. So it's pretty much just they'll be grabbing their meal and going. It won't be like a buffet style or anything like that.
Okay, the thought there was room reservations, right? Some you can have food in, some you can't. So that was
Yes,
kind of the thought.
and the room reservations have been made, so yes.
I think that's all I had. Thank you.
Senator Neal.
Hi. First of all, I think the Lunch and Learn is a great idea. Thank you guys for working so hard on getting this event started. I did have a question though, just about the choice of food and if dietary restrictions or preferences were taken into account when choosing where to cater this meal from, because I know an option like Chick-fil-A might not be super accessible to people who are vegetarian, can't have gluten, halal, etc.
Yeah, so we specifically chose Chick-fil-A because they offer that boxed option. That eliminates any of that having to deal with bringing trays in and out, and it's easily disposable, so it makes our job easier. Dietary restrictions, we can collect that data when asking for registration, and then abide by that as we need.
Okay, thank you. I yield.
Senator Hartley, Vice Speaker Hartley.
I think Senator Kuzi asked this earlier, but do you guys have any dates thought of yet? And then also, how much in advance are you planning on getting those people that you know that they want to come?
Yeah. Okay, so the dates we have set right now, and these could potentially change a little bit if we had to, depending on the speaker's availability. But right now it is February 11th, February 19th, March 2nd, and then March 11th. And we're planning to reach out to the people who will be speaking in the next 2 days once funding would be approved.
Thank you. I yield.
It's been called to question and seconded. Are there any objections? Closing comments? We'll now move forward with a roll call vote. Iona Dimhoff. Yes. Gertis. Yes. Kuzi.
Yes.
Saini. Yes. Jones. Yes. Einwalter.
Yes.
Hartley.
Yes.
Gardy. Yes. Graybill. Yes. Dahman.
Yes.
Grafe.
Yes.
Utica.
Yes.
Miller.
Yes.
Bernal.
Yes.
Cocoon.
Yes.
Quershi.
Yes.
Valenzuela.
Yes.
Bailey.
Yes.
Olson.
Yes.
Pursley.
Yes.
Mandal.
Yes.
Lima Barbosa. Neal. Margaret.
Yes.
Schilling.
Yes.
Martins.
Yes.
Fliggy.
Yes.
Vote of 27 to 0, the bill passes.
Really quickly, can we add 2025-2-048F? We forgot to put it on the agenda.
Where is that at?
Noah's gonna add it really quickly.
To external matters?
To end of external matters.
Okay.
Point of order, do we have to approve that because the agenda was already approved?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm just waiting so I can repeat it before we vote.
Okay.
It's on there. It's at the bottom of external matters. 48F. Is it not? Oh.
There's been a motion to add 2025-2-048F, funding for Letters of Love Gala with Senator Jones. Senator Saini, is there a second? Are there any objections?
So this was actually on first read on the 12th. We had to push it back just due to late notice on my part reaching out to the club to go to finance. So we saw it yesterday in finance rather than 2 weeks ago.
Are there any objections? All right, we'll now move to...
Object, sorry, to your left.
Senator Kuzi.
Question here, since we've been on the topic of line items, what is this going to, other than gala?
We need to get this on the agenda first before we discuss the bill.
Okay, sorry about that.
All right? Yep. Are there any objections? All right, we'll now move to 2025-2-048F, funding for Letters of Love Gala with Senator Saini.
He's not here, so I can talk for it.
Go ahead.
So, Letters of Love, are they here for, believe
Just go
they're
ahead,
here.
you're good.
But, so they came in yesterday for Finance Committee, and they are a sponsored organization, so they don't follow our regular tiers, like they're not on the, like our first tier of funding, they're our second tier, so they're able to have a little more leeway within the PNC. And so they're asking for funding for the gala, which it includes the venue booking as well as their card making supplies and all that stuff. So we talked to them thoroughly, but they don't fall under the category of funding eligible. They're sponsored, a part of our PNC.
Speaker Pursley.
Do they have someone here? Okay. I just have questions about the gala and specifics. Like, do we know? We don't really, like Brody said, we don't really have any line items. We don't know where this money is going.
Like I said, they're a sponsored organization. We did talk to them about the money is going, so it is going towards their venue as well. And then Finance Director, you want to? I'll yield to Finance Director.
Yeah. So this is actually only going to the cost of their venue. I am going to look for it now on Google Maps because I don't remember exactly where it was.
Are they doing it at that winery again?
Yes. Yeah. It's the same spot as last year.
Is there any reason why they do it at this winery instead of in a free location?
It's nice. It fits a lot of people, and also you can get trucks in there. Much easier to get things like supplies. Last year it was because of, I think they had a giant Red Bull delivery, which you can't really do at some of the free locations on campus. But I think their event last year had hundreds of people there, so do keep that in mind when it comes to options available on campus.
Okay, thank you.
Senator Kuzi.
Thank you for speaking to all this. I'd really like to see a spokesperson here for other things like this. I understand that they're tier 2 and some of those things, but this has 5 sentences. So more information is very helpful to tell students where their money's going if they're to look at this bill and not be able to be here like the representatives are or other students are. So that's my comment.
Point of information, we approved funding for the other groups before this without representative here.
Okay, I would just ask for more information on the bill then. That was part of that comment. No motion, just comment. Thank you.
It's been called to question. Is there a second? Are there any objections? Seeing no objections, closing comments. Senator Saini or Senator Jones? All right. Now move forward with a roll call vote. Iona Dimhoff. No. Gertis. Yes. Kuzi.
Yes.
Saini.
Yes.
Jones. Yes. Einwalter.
Yes.
Hartley.
Yes.
Gardy.
Yes.
Graybill.
Yes.
Dahman.
Yes.
Grafe. Utica.
Yes.
Miller. Bernal.
Yes.
Cocoon.
Yes.
Corshi.
Yes.
Valenzuela.
Yes.
Bailey.
Yes.
Olson.
Yes.
Pursley. Nandal.
Yes.
Lima Barbosa. Neal.
Yes.
Margret.
Yes.
Schilling.
Yes.
Martins. Fliggy.
Yes.
Grafe.
Yes.
Miller.
No.
Nandal. Did you go? What was it? Sorry. Oh, Lima Barbosa, sorry. Yes. With a vote of 24 to 3 to 0, the bill passes. We'll now move to special orders, starting with 2025-2-015 SC, confirming nominee to the Supreme Court with Senator Bernal.
Okay, so we have a nominee for the Supreme Court. If they would like to come up and explain why they want to be part of the Supreme Court. I mean, are they here? That's Angelina Kavanagh, I believe that's how you say it.
Motion to strike this bill from the agenda.
There's been a motion to strike 2025-2-015 SC from the agenda. Is there a second? Are there any objections? We'll now move to 2025-2-013 SD, Seating Health and Human Sciences Senator with Senator Bailey.
Yeah, so if Alex is here, I invite her up to explain why she would like to become a senator.
Hi guys, my name is Alex Heilbuth and I'm a kinesiology and health student here. I have minors in both psychology and genetics and I'm on the pre-physician assistant track. I'm very excited to be talking to you guys today. I'm very involved on campus within my sorority, which is Chi Omega. I see as an executive Panhellenic delegate right now, and that is just really helpful for me because I'm able to really hear what people have to say and make sure that that comes to order and make sure that inclusion of all voices is being heard, and I think that would be able to translate into this position as well. I'm very involved with different clubs, pre-PA club, Letters of Love, genetics club, psychology club, campus service council, things like that. More than that, I'm very involved in community service. This semester, I have given more than 60 plus hours of community service, and it's something that I am very passionate about, especially in our community in Iowa State as a whole. I would really like to make sure that that is seen even more. I think that I would be very good as the senator because I will take a more empathetic approach, but I'm also not afraid to speak my mind and speak up for within my college. I want to be the senator for the College of Health and Human Sciences because there is such a diverse amount of majors within my college, and I want to make sure that each major is heard and their needs are met as well.
Senator Neal.
Hi, thank you so much for coming and speaking to us and for having such a nice speech prepared. My question is just, do you know what committee you might be interested in joining?
Absolutely. So I've actually had one meeting with Health and Wellness so far before, and I was thinking about being at large, but this opportunity came up to me, and I think that this would serve me as even better as well, and I think I would still love to be a part of health and wellness, especially because it really goes along with what I'm doing in my future career, and because mental health and just the community of Iowa State and just all of their health and wellness is something that's very important to me. So I would love to really put a lot of my time into that.
Awesome, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Senator Bernal.
I saw you 2 weeks ago, but I have another question. Of course, you're very involved with all the clubs you mentioned. However, will you be able to commit to serving your duties as a senator while being involved in all these clubs?
Absolutely. That's a very good question. I'm someone who likes to be extremely involved with everything I do, and that's just because I'm a very passionate person. And although I am doing a lot within Iowa State, this is something that I want to put as much time as needed and more, and really be able to do as much as I can in this position. And I'm someone who likes to stay busy, so although I have obviously other things that I'm doing, I will put my everything into this as well.
It's been called to question and seconded. Are there any objections? Closing comments?
Placard vote.
Placard vote has been called for. All those in favor? Thank you. Those opposed? With a vote of 27 to 0 to 0, the bill passes. Congratulations.
Thank you, guys.
You'll stay up. If you move closer to the microphone.
Right hand up. Please repeat after me. I solemnly swear or affirm
I solemnly swear or affirm
to execute the duties of my position
to execute the duties of my position
as prescribed in the Constitution
as prescribed in the Constitution
and the laws of the government
and laws of the government
for the benefit of all students.
for the benefit of all students.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much. Thank you, guys.
You can go ahead and sit at the table if there's a spot. Okay. Now move to 2025-2-014SD, seating a UROC senator with Senator Nandal.
Okay, so we saw Saima Kabir in rules and also in New York, and we sent her favorably to Senate, so she can explain why she's interested in joining and being a senator.
Hello everyone, my name is Saima Kabir. I'm very optimistic about to be the senator of UROC. I'm really excited to represent the off-campus students, especially with the issues like affordable and accessible housing, clearer information regarding housing, and transportation and overall well-being. So I was trying to explore some committee that I wanted to join. For now, I was thinking of some local affair, transportation, and maybe health and wellness committee. But I would like to take some suggestions from you all also, like which one will be great for me. Thank you.
Senator Bernal.
I'll just get the questions going. Do you have any specific projects or like a specific project in mind you want to work on as a senator?
Yes, I actually thought of, I told before that I wanted to implement something into the ISU website for the students who wants to come here, like for any new students from maybe different country, from different cities, so that they don't have to deal with the hassles of housing and all. So there's supposed to be some clear information over there. So I will be really working on that. I have this on my mind actually.
Senator Neal.
I just wanted to voice my support for Saima. I've had the opportunity to work with her outside of student government. Very great person to work with, and I think she has a lot of great ideas and could really be an asset to have in student government.
Thank you.
Senator Kikun.
Okay, likewise, I would like to voice my support for Saima. I think I know her out of here, and I'm sure she's going to do so great. You're welcome. Thank you. Yeah.
It's been called to question and seconded. Are there any objections? Closing comments? All right. Now, placard vote has been called for. All those in favor? Thank you. Those opposed? With a vote of 28 to 0, the bill passes. Congratulations.
All right, hand up. It's an oath you have to do.
Hold on one second. Go ahead. Was never added to, that's a great point.
Call for a revote and also move.
There's a motion to add Senator Heilbuth to the roll. Is there a second? Are there any objections? Motion to revote, is there a second? Are there any objections? All those in favor? Thank you. Those opposed? Thank you. The vote of 28 to 0, the bill passes. Congratulations.
Please repeat after me. I solemnly swear or affirm
Solemnly swear and affirm
to execute the duties of my position
to execute the duties of my position
as prescribed in the Constitution
as prescribed in the Constitution
and laws of the government
and laws of the government
for the benefit of all students.
for the benefit of all students.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Now move to new business, starting with 2025-2-054F. Robot in 3 days, funding in 3 days with Senator Lima Barbosa.
Hi, they went to Finance Committee yesterday, and I invited them to speak at the podium.
Hi all, my name is Ella Meyer. I'm a co-founder and president of Robot in 3 Days here at Iowa State. First, I'd like to talk about what Robot in 3 Days does. So Robot in 3 Days is a club that is based around First Robotics Competition, which is a robotics competition for high schoolers, where they have 2 to 2.5 months to build 115-pound, 3.5-foot robots to compete in 3v3 competitions on a volleyball court-sized field. Robot in 3 days takes this game that is given to the high schoolers, and we build a robot in 72 hours and post all of the information to social medias for high schoolers to use as
Hold on
inspiration.
1 second.
Oh, sorry.
Senator Nandal.
I motion to waive first read on this bill.
There's been a motion to waive first read. It's been seconded. Are there any objections? All right, sorry about that. You may proceed.
My apologies. We take this information and we put it all onto social media for the high schoolers to use when they build their own robots. The funding in this bill is going to be used for mechanical and electrical components on our robots.
Senator Bernal?
A motion to add Senator, is it Kabir? How do you say your last name? Kabir to the roll.
There's been a motion to add Senator Kabir to the roll. It's been seconded. Are there any objections? Senator Kuzi?
So the title of this bill is Robot in 3 days, funding in 3 days. Is there any reason that the funding is in 3 days or so fast? You know, did you have any consideration of having this in sooner?
Would you like to waive your time to?
Sorry, Senator Jones, you said the competition is 3 days, but the title is funding in 3 days. And also, I believe it says that the competition, I'm sorry, did that change? I'm sorry, I'll yield your time.
So the competition is in January over winter break. Additionally, the funding request came in, I think, the Thursday, basically right after our Senate meeting 2 weeks ago. So this was not submitted 3 days ago. I thought it was a fun name because it was written on Monday, seen in finance on Tuesday, and now being voted on Wednesday. So 3 days. So that's the explanation for the silly title for the bill.
Okay, so the silly title comes from the time that this has been turned around, not the time from submission.
Yes.
Understood.
Senator Margaret?
All right. Well, first of all, thank you very much for being here. Just a really quick note that I just want to say for the group. I do happen to know Ella and some other members who founded this group. I advised them on how to approach funding in different ways, so I do plan to abstain, just to make clear that that's not any kind of judgment I'm passing on this group.
Senator Grafe?
Can you talk more about like how this competition operates? I'm just really interested in how you guys go about this.
Yeah, absolutely. So a point of clarification, we are not going to compete with our robot. This build is primarily for educational purposes for high schoolers when they build their robots. In terms of the high schoolers building their robots, so we get the game in January to build their robots at the same time that they do. And then they have 2 to 2.5 months to design, build, code, and drive the robots. And then they will go to competition to compete against teams from all over the world in regional and district competitions to qualify for world championships.
Senator Bernal?
I know you mentioned how you use social media to, of course, have outreach to high schoolers. How broad is your social media presence, and do you have any non-social media presence to help high schoolers with this type of stuff?
Yeah, absolutely. So in terms of the broadness of the social media, we have Instagram, TikTok, and a YouTube channel, as well as a Chief Delphi account. So Chief Delphi is a website that all it's kind of like Reddit for robot teams, so even extra nerdier. And then we also have a GitHub account to share our code, and then everybody will have access to our Onshape, which is a CAD software files.
Senator Jones?
I just want to say they came up in the finance committee really prepared. They had spreadsheets with everything listed, like the price. It was the most amazing thing I've ever seen in finance committee ever before. And this, if we could have sent to Senate favorably, we would have, but we can't because we just wait first read. So.
Senator Kuzi?
Just one more thought. The first was procedural. The next is almost an idea. Do you have any plans or thoughts on getting these high schoolers to enroll as students here? Seriously.
Well, we have connections with the robotics team here on campus, so they host their practices in Sukup. So we're hoping to work with them to recruit people here, and then we will also have videos posted with the Student Innovation Center, kind of promoting the Student Innovation Center in Iowa State to further that promotion.
I like it. Thank you.
You're welcome.
It's been called to question and seconded. Are there any objections? Closing comments? All right, we'll now move forward with a roll call vote. Iona Dimhoff. Yes. Gertis. Yes. Kuzi. Yes. Saini. Jones. Einwalter. Yes. Hartley. Yes. Gardy. Yes. Graybill. Yes. Dahman. Yes. Grafe. Yes. Utica. Yes. Miller. Yes. Bernal. Yes. Cocoon. Yes. Corshi. Yes. Valenzuela. Yes. Bailey. Yes. Olson. Yes. Pursley. Yes. Nundal. Yes. Lima Barbosa. Yes. Neal. Yes. Margaret. Schilling. Yes. Martins. Yes. Fliggy. Yes. Okay. Say it again. Heilbuth. Yes. Okay. Kabir. Yes. The vote of 28 to 0 to 1, the bill passes. Congratulations.
Thank you.
We'll now move to 2025-2-055F, funding for the Muslim Student Association banquet with Senator Saini.
This bill was seen unofficially in finance yesterday just to make sure all the line items are up to date, and we made sure that all the items that they're asking for are in the bill, and I'm going to make a motion to waive the first read because they applied for the funding right before the Thanksgiving break, and as we all know, we don't meet in Thanksgiving break, so.
There's been a motion to waive first read. Is there a second? Are there any objections?
I encourage you to talk about the bill and the event.
Hi everybody, my name is Salah. I'm the president of the Muslim Student Association. We wanted to just do one last event before the semester ends, just kind of help everyone just relax and detox before it gets absolutely nuts. And so what we had an idea was to rent out a room at Raymond Gardens and then also have like a formal banquet style event. And so we kind of requested that we asked for $500 to help rent the room. It's about $100 an hour, and we wanted the room for 5 hours. And on top of that, we wanted to set the tone, give it that formal vibe. And we as an organization, we don't have any decor to help set the style. And so we asked for $400 to help get all the tablecloths, make like some sort of formal design, kind of help set the tone for the event.
Senator Jones? Senator Bernal?
No, this is just a question, I think, for the finance director or something, but it says in enacted that $750 shall be transferred, but in the line items, it's $900 with the organization not paying anything, so friendly on that?
Yeah, that would have just been a mistake in finance. Initially, the room reservation wasn't for as much because it was in the MU. We figured we would be able to cover that.
It's been called to question and seconded. Are there any objections? Closing comments? No closing comments. Now move forward with a roll call vote. Iona Dimhoff. Yes. Gertis. Yes. Kuzi. Yes. Saini. Yes. Jones. Einwalter. Yes. Hartley. Yes. Gardy. Yes. Graybill. Yes. Dahman. Yes. Grafe. Yes. Utica. Yes. Miller. Yes. Bernal. Yes. Cocoon. Yes. Corshi. Yes. Valenzuela. Yes. Bailey? Olson? Pursley? Nandal? Lima Barbosa? Neal? Margaret? Schilling? Martins? Fliggy? Heilbuth? Kabir? Vote of 29 to 0 to 0. The bill passes. Congratulations.
Thank you.
We'll now move to 2025-2-001 SR, celebrating Amy Shaw's student government anniversary with Senator Margaret.
All right, first of all, before it slips my mind, motion to waive first read.
There's been a motion to waive first read. It's been seconded. Are there any objections?
Perfect. All right. Well, thank you all. As I'm sure you all are aware at this point, tomorrow, December 4th, is Amy Shaw's one-year anniversary, having served a full year as our administrative assistant in student governments. We went through a pretty lengthy search process 1 year ago to find Amy, and I really can't imagine having found someone who would have been a better addition to our team. She's been a joy to work with. She hit the ground running in a big way. She's been so incredibly supportive of our membership. She's played such a key role behind the scenes of so many of the important projects that we've worked on over this past year. The first one that comes to mind being how much work she had to do originally to help us with the parking ticket relief program. She very much makes our organization better. She makes our membership better. And I'm extremely confident that students are well served because she's here working with us. And so we've definitely had opportunities to appreciate Amy behind the scenes, but I wanted to make sure that we had an opportunity to do that publicly as well. And so this resolution simply summarizes a lot of what I've said, expands on it, and really formalizes our gratitude.
Senator Margaret, would you be willing to read the resolved portion of the bill?
I would indeed. Resolved, student government extends its most heartfelt appreciation to Amy Shaw for her service, steadfast commitment to Iowa State students, and unmatched work ethic. We very much look forward to working alongside Amy for an equally successful second year.
Thank you. It's been called to question and seconded. Are there any objections?
UC.
Closing comments? UC has been called for. Is there a second? Are there any objections? The bill has been passed by unanimous consent. Well, that's the end of the agenda for this evening. I hope you all have a great winter break. Vice Speaker Hartley.
Thank you guys for this last meeting of the session. So just to be clear, there are no office hours during prep or finals week. So those will finish the week of office hours, and then that will restart the first week of next semester. I just want to let you guys all know that I'm really appreciative of all the hard work that you guys do. And then Josie will speak on this more, but we are going to be piloting a new system for committee assignments. And then I'll let her speak on it.
Yeah, so I'll talk on that first. Me and Vice Speaker Claire are looking into implementing a new way to seat senators on committees and are hoping to hear some input beforehand. So we're looking at assigning senators to committee based on interest and advice of committee chairs, and seeing how this works for sessions 3. We just want to try something new and see how it works and get people's input on this pilot program. So look out for an interest form from us before break. You'll be ranking your top 3 choices for committees, putting if you want to be on 2 committees or 1 committee, and then we're going to be working with committee chairs on that program. Second, for Cardinal credits, please make sure you have your 3 Cardinal credits completed for the semester. If you're new or if you joined within the last 2 weeks, you can talk to me. It'll be a little bit different for you. And yeah, make sure you do those. And then as well, thank you everyone for such a great session 2. I'm excited for session 3 with you guys. We have 32 seated senators right now, which I think is pretty cool. And we'll have 30 in semester 2. And then I also just want to thank Eric and Jake for being great senators and Jake's not here tonight, but just want to congratulate them, give them a little round of applause for being great, and wish them a happy graduation. Okay, motion to adjourn. Go Cyclones.
There's a second. Any objections? Have a great night.